Hi, I'm Sean Cashman. I'm a senior manager of mid-market commerce here at Google, and I'm joined by Bill Rom, the chief strategy officer and co-founder of Baseball Lifestyle 101, an incredible brand. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Baseball Lifestyle 101, when you've described it, you've talked about it being an overnight success, years in the making. Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
Yeah, so very many years ago in a different life, I was working with young athletes. This very young athlete of mine had this urge to start a business and worked alongside of him through social media, his interests as a mentor. And then as years went on, that became a brand. You know, we end up going to see things in the College World Series. How is that environment for us? And things start to explode. I say to him, hey, this is a real company. We have to really focus on what's going on. And you fast forward 2023, we're about $5 million company, and then this year we'll do over 150 million. So in very short order, things change, but it was a lot of years of time learning about how to do this right with a small team, and now over 200 employees, much bigger team.
I mean, you're on a rocket ship, and I will say that as a parent of two small children, anytime I go to visit you in your office, I become a hero. So thank you for that. The lead up to holiday here at Google is particularly exciting this year. We have rolled out products like AI Max, which is helping advertisers identify white space opportunities they haven't seen before within their campaigns. And we've seen on the consumer side, AI integrations into products, and Gemini is rolled out has completely changed the way consumers are finding information, which is super exciting and opens up white space opportunities for advertisers like you. Having said that, there are challenges, common challenges that are being faced, things like inventory, supply chain. How are you navigating those things as you head into holiday?
Yeah, so every year, supply chain is the big secret behind advertising that no one wants to talk about, right? You're constantly saying, how much inventory do I have? Do I have the right inventory at the right time? So maximizing accounts, doing things like that all comes back to, do I have the right stuff? Do I have things that people want? So with supply chain for us, we're actually utilizing AI often to fill in information and then have it project for us. What do you think from a demand side? We're going to go in. So we can actually upload all of our data and say, how do you project that our Q4 is going to go? How much inventory do we need? What's our size sell-through of this product over the last X amount of period? And we can use those things to project out need and requirements for our purchase orders. So those are some ways that we're using it from a supply chain side. And then obviously deeper and deeper that we get with both AI Max and other, how are we leveraging that to get more customers?
No, that's great. As we think about, the marketplace, clearly in Q4, competition spikes. You have a distinct competitive advantage in the marketplace right now, given your brand positioning, but how do you think about competition, especially in a quarter where it's the noisiest?
Yeah, and that's a great point. I think making sure that you're doing content and you're doing performance ads in a way that other people aren't. A lot of people talk about creative diversity. They talk about the needs, their requirements, but making sure you have angles that are unique for your company are vital to your success during that moment. If all ads look exactly the same as everyone else's ads, in the competitive landscape where dollars are finite for gifts, et cetera, in that marketplace, you want to stand out if you're trying to capture net new people. Additionally, you should be spending the now, right? As early as you can before that holiday moment. You should be making sure you're getting all of those angles out in front of the appropriate audience. So the sooner you can get out there, have messaging that's hitting all of the different people you hope to buy your product, when you then serve this original, your content that breaks through the noise, that leverages your ability to capture that audience and convert to sale.
So our research shows that consumers are going to use an average of 5 resources before making a purchase. Tell me a little bit about how Baseball Lifestyle 101 thinks about the entire customer journey and how do you nurture it?
Yeah, super great question. And again, I think there's a long tail we can take. You have to be everywhere, and you have to be everywhere with multiple different styles of content. So for us, top funnel, right? We think about that just more organic content, doing the right thing for our customer, making things that they'd be entertained by, but also the surrounding audience. So for us, that comes in the form of more long form content. Some of our content that's anywhere between 8-15 minutes long that we can run on YouTube, because YouTube is a super important strategy for us moving forward. We started the year, very few followers. Now we're up to, almost 50,000, 52,000 subscribers. So utilizing that platform for long form then allows us to entertain these people how they want to. And we can then open up the universe of people that we're getting in front of. Then down funnel from that, Shorts plays a key role in allowing us to sliver and slice that audience into different styles. Right. So when we get into Shorts, that lets me talk to a mom, a dad, their son, grandma, whoever, because for us, our customer and consumer are different, right? And because our consumer is that younger person who's consuming all this content and they want a lot of it and their attention spans are shorter, I have to hit them with things constantly that entertain and stay on trend. Where our long form content can then allow them to open up, spend more time with our brand, understand what's going on. And that's where we can have parents become a more understanding about how our brand fits into their kid's life. And now we've created this streamline of you love our content, you see the clothing, you understand that the content is serving a great purpose for you and your family. And then that opens up the door for our advertising to now come in and offer product, offer things that you've seen, you've engaged with, all the way down to the bottom of the funnel where we convert with things like demand gen.
Now, as an advertiser, if you're going to nurture the entire customer journey, clearly measurement is important. Tell me a little bit about how you think of measurement and how you make decisions using the data at your disposal.
Yeah, again, great question. And I think attribution is a sticky subject for a lot of different people inside of marketing in general right now. So for me, it's having as many data sources as you possibly can. And one of those data sources is also the team that I work with here at Google, where I'm able to get lift studies. I'm able to see a little bit more about how my brand is interacting with the marketplace. I'm able to get a little bit more connectivity to how my data lives in that universe, on top of then how I'm tracking. Ultimately, there's so many different ways that you can look at it and say this is the right answer. I think for me today, I look mostly at signal and directional. And as long as directional gets me there, I have to use my own discerning functions to say, I think this. Because no matter what you do with any ad, any singular ad, you may think that you're getting X return. But if you can't tie that directly back into, I made that this much money, did your company actually do it? So things like ROAS can be important and CAC can be important, but you can't look at them in my eyes as specifically right in channel, right? You have to take a step back and say, am I making more money as a company? So for me, revenue at my company level is the driving force, right? Contribution margin for myself, how I'm looking at my company. That's how I'm doing everything. And then I'm using other platforms, other things to try to pull all that data together and tell me what my next move may need to be.
Well, I mean, you've been really great at leveraging data to identify white space opportunities. It feels like that's part of the DNA of Baseball Lifestyle 101. You mentioned something, though, around contribution margin. A lot of advertisers ahead of holiday are reviewing their ROAS targets, understanding that that's a nice media metric, but profitability and understanding how that ROAS target was actually calculated is going to be critical as they think about promotion and driving new customers. How do you consistently make sure that the targets you have from media are being backed into profitable return for the business?
I think there's always a test and report function inside of anything. If you're taking such risk with your spend and such risk with things that you can't suffer through 5 to 7 days of testing to see if something's actually working, you've probably not tested enough strategies as you're heading into a moment where you need to be buttoned up and understand what works.
Right.
So I think that the October, November, early November, heading into the holiday time, you need to make sure that you understand position. You have to understand what copy works. You have to understand which areas are the best place for the next dollar. And those targets need to be set as company first, right? What does the company need to function? Because then inside that bubble, there's different windows of return that you may get. So let's say that you have a marketer who has optimized for a 7-day window. But when you do a post-purchase study, you may find that those people take 45, 60 days for more than 70% of your audience. So if you have 70% of the people who are purchasing from you saying that they've known about the brand for 30 days or more, right? How are you only optimizing for this one thing inside that bundle of metrics? So inherently, it means that 2 months ago's information, what you were doing, what marketing you're doing, mattered to today. So that also makes it very, very difficult for you to optimize specifically by channel that you need to hit these targets in each. You should have a range. And I think it's important for everybody to understand what's the range of this impacts my overall company number. and be willing to push and lean. And then make sure you have great relationships like I have here at Google.
The finance suite and the marketing suite seem to be coming together in more meaningful ways given all of this media being accountable. You're clearly in a different position than most as the co-founder, but how are you partnering with the financial suite? How are you partnering with your CFO when it comes to not only understanding how you're investing, but reporting back on performance specifically through the entire customer journey?
Yeah, and for sure, I say all the time whenever I meet with anybody, I'm in a unique stance because my CFO kind of has to listen to me when I want to push hard on marketing.
Very cool.
So that's helpful, but ultimately, I hope that somebody watching something like this and seeing, hey, a founder who's putting millions and millions of dollars into somebody else's hands and allowing them to run it, that I give a lot of leash and a lot of freedom from the marketing team. But that's because I've spent a ton of time making sure that finance and marketing both understand each other's language, right? And what is actually important. Because I think that it's easy to say we need creative diversity and not understand how you're testing, tracking, and you're spending to that, right? So if you're going to say, hey, we're going to have 10,000 different ads and you're going to hire multiple agencies and everybody's doing it, do you know how much you're losing in the testing process? Was that the optimal way? Did you need that many creatives? So I think that the marketing side has to make sure that they're coming buttoned up with exactly what that means. For finance people and CFOs and people who are dealing with the books out there also has to be a little bit of understanding that brand marketing and top funnel marketing has a value even if you're not living inside of a 7 or 30-day window. I know you want to close your P&L. I know you want to see that, hey, we closed the books on September and everything was X, but there's going to be a drag. And if you live so tied to moments and time windows that inherently don't matter, you're only going to pull down the success that your company can have. And I've seen way too often other people who talk to me about, hey, we hit a roadblock, and they pulled out of spend of something that was working because they couldn't measure that success inside of this fabricated window. So understanding each other's language, super important. Marketers definitely need to make sure that they come in and understand enough finance to be dangerous. And finance people need to step away from spreadsheets and understand how the relationship of money getting spent works to a customer's wallet.
As you know, Google's an AI first company, and we're extremely excited about the impact AI is having for businesses like yourself today, but even more excited about what the impact is going to be in the future. How is AI influencing both your operations and your creative development?
Yeah, great question. And I love that you brought up operations because I think that operations is not often talked about and how you can leverage AI like Gemini to pull forward data and understand what your company is doing. So how we leverage it now is we actually have all of our data is ported every day into a Google Sheet, and we can upload that directly into the AI. And over time, I can ask it, hey, predict what my needs of this SKU, this color, this product are over the next 90 days based off this key grouping of assumptions. And from a demand planning side, that allows us to be a lot more specific and double check our work. A lot of teams here are most likely hiring tons of people about demand planning. Having the right stuff on shelf at the right time is the biggest key to being able to scale. So AI then allows you to understand, hey, I have a better idea of exactly what's going to be needed when, and then that allows the marketing team to do their job and do excellent things. Additionally, there's an even further operational function to understand what your people needs are, how many orders you're going to be able to ship out, how that happens, and you can tie right into your AI and find what you need whenever you need it. That then opens up dollars because we're not overspending on products, we're not overspending on people there, right? We have the right mix of things. That then lets us go in and say, okay, in the marketing team, how do we utilize AI to maximize this opportunity? And the very key thing that we do is using things like Flow, right? And using things like Veo to go in and create AI content, try different angles, try different things, max out our creative diversity. And by utilizing them appropriately and finding the moments that we can now allow our team to scale out their production substantially, right? So now a team of 2 or 3 people can do the work of many more, right? And that's powerful as you're trying to scale because sometimes you can't get right in there and have the right amount of team at the right time. AI leverages that, allows you to have a scalable team whenever you need it, however you need it, and be just in time.
That's awesome. I think leveraging that creative within your media has been amazing. I also know that you're a big proponent of products like AI Max, where it identifies white space opportunities. We know that people are searching differently since AI has been integrated into their daily lives. having AI Max implemented has been a great boon for identifying different kinds of questions where Baseball Lifestyle 101 could be the answer. Baseball Lifestyle 101 is pushing towards the omni world, which is congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the strategy there, but also what role you think Google plays in driving to store and giving an overall experience to the consumer and the customer.
So it used to be direct to consumer was the entire industry. And how we talk about our company is we're a digitally native brand. We were born on the internet, but that doesn't mean we still live there. Now we live everywhere, right? We're in major retailers across the country, but we're also starting to open up our own stores. We're leveraging our AI to look and say, where are the best zip codes? Where are the best places that we could have, that we could set up the store? Where do we have the most orders? Where's the most capital? Then we're taking demographic information and we can punch that in as well and say, where is the next best store? Down funnel of that, once we've opened a store, that allows us to open up that, hey, we have a Google listing for that location. And we can tie into our advertising platform to say, hey, maybe we're out of this on our website, but someone can see locally to them that the nearest place that they could pick it up is one of our stores. Tying our ecosystem from what we originally was just our direct-to-consumer style marketing to now this omni-channel environment takes the power of what we're doing in our advertising with Google and maximizes it to its fullest advantage.
Nice. How are you going to leverage your stores in Q4?
So we always talk about Baseball Lifestyle originally as a direct-to-consumer company, but now we talk about ourselves as a digitally native brand. We were born on the internet, doesn't mean we live there any longer. So with that, we are now in major retailers across the country, but a huge strategy for us is also opening up our own retail. Those are important for us, and to go into the communities, go into our top areas. How we found some of these is, again, leveraging AI. We can say, where are our best sales happening? What's going on inside these zip codes? What are the demographic information of these zip codes in terms of what's the income level? What's anything else? And AI is able to pull that out for us, feed us that information. So we're going to be opening a number of stores, Chicago, Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, amongst our stores that are already in New York and Philadelphia area. And AI empowered us to make just a better decision when we're investing that capital. Now we can have an omni-channel experience that pulls our digital marketing into the real world. So Google is going to allow us where in Q4, our website shuts down and we have such success that is a requirement. But that's going to open up that we can have these hub locations that still will have inventory. And you can go in and say, hey, where is this? And see on Google Maps, hey, here's a place where you can shop and you can get this. And that'll allow us to explore new omni-channel style marketing, leveraging Google's suite of options.
One of the things that Baseball Lifestyle 101 has done incredibly well is having experiential marketing events. But those live sort of in isolation, right? How are you thinking about taking advantage of those unique experiences as a digital-first company and bringing them online through platforms like YouTube?
So one of the biggest events we ran this year was also a collaboration that we had with Hasbro and Monopoly. We built one of the world's largest Monopoly boards, put it inside of a baseball stadium, had millions of followers worth of influencers come in and play the game for a cash prize. And we were able to leverage that with all of our team recording the video, recording the content, micro pieces of content going out. And that was one of our best selling and performing products of the year. And one of our retailers reinvesting into it for Q4. They'll be the only one having it because it did so well for them at retail. So what we're trying to do in the future is how do we create these in real life experiences that allow people to see our brand, see us as people, come have fun, but the people who can't make it, we're trying to support with all of these different digital aspects of what we do. So YouTube has been super important for my strategy as a company as we continue to expand. You guys know better than I do. Last 2 years, #1 streaming platform in the world. For me, I want to be out in front of that. I want to make sure that I'm generating content that fits inside of that ecosystem. I want to meet people where they're at. So showing these events to all of this audience also allows that voyeurism of what is living the baseball lifestyle actually about. So next year it'll be in Philadelphia. There's the All-Star game. We'll have a presence there. We'll have a party. We'll invite professional athletes, and we'll invite some of our fans to come and partake. And now that also for the consumer who is on the channel, they now see that it's possible that they could be invited to one of these amazing events. And that now feeds into itself. We have a few other surprises down the line, and we'll be leveraging the platform that we're building with YouTube and Google to explore new audiences.
When it comes to just planning and executing for holiday, How has the partnership with Google influenced what you're doing, and ultimately, how is Google helping you succeed?
My team at Google has been exceptional. Obviously, you're part of that as well.
Thank you.
And what it has allowed me to do is get access to greater data than I've ever had before, understanding about missed opportunities that presented themselves last year, doing year-over-year comps and reviews, seeing white space, seeing how the rest of the market is moving. That's given me trust and faith into where I'm spending, what I'm doing, what consumer sentiments may be. So having access to the team here, the resources that you all provide, and then education. I've been to a number of events here at Google's headquarters where I've gotten insight into the expansion of YouTube, the expansion of some of the other platforms, and what's coming down the pipe. And being able to be on the bleeding edge of that technology is giving my company more and more of an advantage. And the more I have leaned into Google, the more they've leaned into me. And that just continues to go back and forth. And my company is the better for it.
That's great. I think we pride ourselves on partnering with brands like you to not only help you understand the marketplace around you and what the consumer is doing, but to ultimately ensure that you're achieving what you need to achieve on our platforms through things like optimizations and product advancement. So it's been a great partnership. I've really enjoyed working with you and appreciate everything that you've done as far as giving us insight into how our products are working versus not for your brand. So Q4, clearly a big time for brands like yours. What excites you about the upcoming opportunity?
As the company continues to grow and scale, we as a team get better and better, right? And having a relationship with Google and your team has allowed me to maximize my team. I've made strategic hires where I realized that I had a need that maybe I didn't see before. Whether that was I needed more people for making content, I needed more people for data and analysis, I needed more people for strategy, it's opened up my needs. So I feel like my team is in the best position it's ever been in heading into this moment. We've tested the most amount of things. We have the best understanding of where our next dollar should be spent. We have the best understanding of how our creative affects our results. So I'm really excited to just see how that plays out, and what ultimately is the financial response to that.
Fair enough. When you look at macro environment, what should retailers be excited about for Q4?
I think that there's always a buying opportunity, regardless of what the macro environment looks like. If you're doing a great job with a great product, I don't think you have anything to fear. You should actually be excited by all of the opportunities to get in front of your specific audience the best way you ever have. Short form content, long form content, advertising styles. There's so many more ways that people can find and explore and see your product than ever before. So while that's daunting and challenging because you have to be in more places at more times with sometime a team that you can't expand, it's also a great opportunity to find new blue oceans that you can go and maximize your company. So right now, with the innovations that have happened inside of AI and some companies' hesitancy or their inability to scale with it as rapidly as they can, it does create for a few people who are ready, who have prepared, who are leaning into this holiday season, how to leverage AI to the best of their ability. You can win in a way that you maybe have never won before.
You've talked about AI for operations and AI for your creative. Is there anywhere else you're using AI within your marketing to help you generate growth?
So the most recent one is AI Max and how it's integrated, and I've been pleasantly surprised. Didn't think I was going to get the response that I've been able to have. And having my team work synergistically with the team at Google to make sure that we have best practices, that we're finding little pockets that we can win on, and then allowing the system to do what it's done. Our spend recently is up about 3 times in the last 30 days, and our returns are either at exactly where they were from a ROAS standpoint, or they've improved. So something that I'm super interested in to continue to dive deeper in and see how that permeates across the rest of the suite of products that we use.
Bill, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. You've been an incredible partner, and it's been amazing to see your success both on our platforms, but for your business. Looking forward to an incredible Q4, and let's go get it.
Appreciate you.